All right, let's dive into Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. This is a book that has genuinely changed millions of lives. But its core message about ending our own suffering, it didn't come from some peaceful mountain retreat. Nope. It all started with a single, desperate thought in a moment of total despair. So picture this. Tolle is 29 years old, deep in a crushing depression, and this one thought is just looping in his mind. I cannot live with myself any longer. But then something weird happened. In that moment, he wasn't just thinking the thought, he was suddenly watching it, almost like it belonged to somebody else. And that led to this really strange question. If I can't live with myself, doesn't that mean there are two of me? There's the I, and then there's the self that the I can't stand. And that's when it hit him. What if only one of them is actually real? So yeah, one self or two? This seemingly simple question was the light bulb moment, the huge revelation that sparked a complete spiritual awakening for him and literally ended his suffering overnight. And here's the thing, what he found wasn't some mystical secret just for a chosen few. Tolle argues that this profound inner peace is actually our natural state. It's available to every single one of us. So, why don't we feel it all the time? Well, because it's buried under one major obstacle, our own mind. Okay, so let's get into this mind-made self. What is this false identity that Tolle says is the real root cause of pretty much all of our suffering? He gives it a name we've all heard, the ego, but his definition is specific. It's that fake identity we build from that non-stop voice in our head. You know the one, the commentator, the critic, the constant worrier. And the biggest mistake we all make? We believe that voice is us. You've probably heard that famous line from the philosopher Eckhart, I think, therefore I am. Well, Tolle points to this as the perfect example of our core delusion. We're taught to connect our very existence, our very being, with the constant chattering of our minds. But what if that's the fundamental error that keeps us all trapped? So here's the really crucial distinction we have to make. On one hand, you've got the mind. It's always thinking, always trapped in memories of the past or anxieties about the future. That's where pain comes from. But on the other hand, you have what Tolle calls being. This is that deep, quiet, conscious presence that's only ever rooted in the now. That, he says, is who you really are. So what keeps this mind-made self, this ego, alive? According to Tolle, it runs on one thing, what he calls psychological time. You see, without constantly dwelling on the past and projecting into the future, the ego just, well, it can't survive. And this just lays it out so perfectly. Think about it. The ego uses the past to create its identity, all our stories of regrets, guilt, or even our past glories. Then it looks to the future for some kind of salvation or fulfillment, which, of course, creates anxiety. And the present moment, the now, to the ego, it's just an obstacle, something annoying you have to get through to get to that better future. And this right here is the absolute heart of the book. All of our suffering, every bit of it, exists in psychological time. It's wrapped up in memory and anticipation. But our power, our peace, our true selves, that only exists right here, right now. So freedom from the mind is freedom from time. And it's only available in this very moment. Okay, so if our minds are stuck in this trap of time, how in the world do we get out? Well, Tolle's answer is actually pretty simple, but it is incredibly powerful. We have to cultivate what he calls the power of presence. What does presence even mean? It just means you step back and you become the silent witness to your own mind. You're no longer the main character swept up in the drama of your own thoughts. Instead, you're the audience. You're the quiet awareness that's just watching the show. And he gives us a really practical way to do this. Just start listening to that voice in your head as often as you can. But here's the key. Don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Just notice it. The moment you do that, you create a little bit of separation. You realize, oh, there's the voice. And here I am, the one who's listening. That awareness, that I am, that is presence. That's the little gap in the constant stream of thought. Here's another amazing tool for anchoring yourself in the now, your own body. You can actually try this right now. Just take a second and feel the aliveness, the subtle energy inside your hands or your feet.
Tolle calls this inhabiting the inner body, and it's a super direct way to pull your attention right out of your head and into the reality of the present moment.
Now, let's be really clear. The goal here isn't to just stop thinking. That's impossible, and it's not the point. The point is to stop getting your entire sense of who you are from that stream of thought. Every single time you step back and just watch, you weaken that false identification, and you make your connection to that deeper sense of being even stronger.
And this practice of presence, it does way more than just help you find a little peace in the moment. It actually starts to fundamentally change your life's purpose and how you see success and fulfillment altogether.
So, according to Tolle, your life really has two purposes happening at the same time. There's the outer purpose. That's the stuff we're all usually obsessed with, achieving our goals, getting that promotion, arriving at some future destination. But then there's the inner purpose, which he says is actually way more important. And that is simply about the quality of your awareness in this very step, in this very moment.
So how do you align with that deeper inner purpose? The key is a word that can be a little tricky: surrender. Now, this doesn't mean giving up or becoming a doormat, not at all. It means making a deep, intelligent inner yes to what is.
Think about it. Instead of constantly fighting the present moment in your head, wishing it were different, you just yield to it. You allow it to be as it is. This simple act of non-resistance stops you from creating more suffering for yourself, and it reconnects you with that deep energy of being, which has the power to turn pain into peace.
And where does all of this practice eventually lead? Well, to what people call enlightenment. But Tolle loves the Buddha's really simple, down-to-earth definition. It's not some superhuman, godlike state. It's simply the end of suffering. It's a state of deep inner peace that doesn't depend on whether things outside of you are going your way or not. So, we'll end with a question that a great Zen master used to ask. And it's not a question for your mind to answer. It's designed to pull your attention deeply, right into the now. So just ask yourself, what, at this moment, is lacking? And when you look from that place of deep presence, you just might discover that, free from the mind stories, absolutely nothing is lacking at all.